Hello and welcome learners. Hope you are doing well with your studies. Today, in this particular session, we will discuss on one of the important classes of Dewey Decimal Classification, that is 500. 500 consists of natural sciences and mathematics. Before we get into the details, let's have a look on the arrangement of today's discussion. Actually, at the beginning, we will have a quick recap of library classification and different library classification schemes. Then we will concentrate on the class of today's 500, we have already mentioned. Then with some example, we'll try to understand the method of classification of the class 500. Finally, we will provide you some self-check questions through which you can evaluate your learning experiences with this session. So, there are 4 subtopics. Firstly, the basic introduction. Secondly, the 500 class. Thirdly, the 500 class with some examples. And finally, the self-check. So, let's go into the first one. You know that Melville Dewey has divided the entire universe of knowledge into 10 main classes. These are 000, that is computer science, information and general works. 100 is for philosophy and psychology. 200 is for religion. 300 social sciences. 400 languages. 500 natural science and mathematics. 600 technology or applied science. 700 art and recreation. 800 literature, and finally the 900 is for history and geography. So these 10 main classes have again subdivided into 10 divisions, and each divisions into 10 sections. You already know. And these main classes are available in the schedule portion. These are printed in volume 2 and volume 3 of 23rd edition of DDC, and we'd like to mention that we are doing the practical classification with the help of the 23rd edition of Dewey Decimal Classification that was published in 2011. You know that. And there are, beside these 10 main classes, there are 6 tables. With the help of tables and the particular class 500, we will try to make some classification of real life problem, that is title of the books. You know that we are here only concentrate on the title of the books, because as per the norms we cannot have the direct access to the printed document or any other online document. We just have to depend on the title of the book. So before to start, we should know what the science is. Science actually the study of the physical world around us with our observation for the purpose of understanding the world. So what are in the class science? Actually it is from mathematics to the zoology. So how Dewey has subdivided the natural science and mathematics class, that is 500, popularly known as science. This is divided into 10 divisions, among which the first one is 510, that is mathematics. In mathematics, we can find from the number system, arithmetic, algebra, differential calculus, etc. All these are included in mathematics. That you know what is mathematics is. Second one is astronomy and allied sciences. In astronomy, we study the different books that was written on astronomy or the universe or the around the space or different planet, their satellites, etc. 530 is for physics. You know, physics 540 is chemical sciences and allied science. 550 is earth sciences. Earth sciences actually deals with the geology, hydrology, all the things are available under the ground. That is mining, minerals are in the earth sciences. 560 is paleontology. Paleontology actually the science of fossils. You know the fossils. 570 is biology. Here we will cover the living organism irrespective of their characteristic like plants or animal, biology in general. And in 580, that is the discussion on plants, or it is known as also botany, whereas 590 discusses the animals, that is zoology. These are the main classes, but you know that the literature on science is the fastest growing in nature because we need the nascent information, particularly on this type of subjects. So the publication rate is high. Accordingly, the enumeration in the DDC of this particular class is huge, and there are some tricks in different classes that we will discuss. Then we will proceed for the examples. So, as we have mentioned, that 500 are composed of a wide range of disciplines that you have already seen or know. And this variety of number building methods in 500, among which some are limited to the specific discipline, otherwise are different from other classes. So we have to move from one class to another to build the number. In the biology or life science, you will get such kind of references. In chemistry also, there are so many examples of this particular phenomena. And finally, you can find that very similar subject may use in different number building method. As for example, you know that inorganic chemistry and organic chemistry are quite related or subject, but when we find their number building method or their subdivision, we can find some differences. As well as in biology class or in the zoology, botany and biology, there are also such instance we can find. So when we build a class number of these particular classes, we have to concentrate properly and check the schedule for any different mechanism or any different instruction is available or not, whether finalizing this particular number. So as we have mentioned that in chemistry, inorganic chemistry and organic chemistry, though they are placed besides in the DDC, but still there are some similarity as well as some dissimilarities also. In 546, inorganic chemistry, and in 547, organic chemistry is placed in DDC. Each have 8 tables with a different structure in each. Means there are extended subdivision under both the classes, that is 546 and 547. The added table or the extended subdivision under 546 has more topics than the 547. The topics under 546 cover the elements, compounds, mixture, etc. of different inorganic material. Again, if we talk about the similarities, then we can find that in both tables there are theoretical chemistry, physical chemistry and analytical chemistry. So, when we build a class number, we have to first identify the element, whether it is physical, whether it is inorganic or organic. Because if we have to classify a number on the analytical chemistry of some organic compound or analytical chemistry of an inorganic compound, they are in both cases the extended subdivision may be same, but their basic number or the base number will be different. So before finalizing the number, you have to determine whether we have correctly selected the number of the element or not. Okay, so the same case is you can find in 570 that we have mentioned earlier. There are two most common number building patterns in between 571 to 577. We can classify it into two subcategories. In the first one, we can combine one topic in 571 to 575 with a kind of organism. You know that life sciences actually deals with organism, living organism. That organism is located in 579 to 599. Whereas there are another combination option that we can find in the same class range, that is 571 to 575. There we can add two topics as well. So when the point of containing one topic in 571 to 575 with a kind of organism from 579 to 599, that can be we can do it in three ways. Firstly, we can add notation for 591 to 599 for animals. Secondly, we can add notations from 581 to 588 for plants. You know that 590 is animals or zoology, whereas 580 for plants or botany. So when we are adding the number for botany or the plants, it would be from 581 to 588. On the contrary, when it is for the animals, then the number range will be 591 to 599. Okay. And finally, in this particular category, the notation 29 adds a notation from 579 for microorganism, fungi, algae, etc. These are for the microorganisms. So we can have three categories, one for plants, another for animals, and third one is for microorganism like fungi or algae. Now, when the point comes about the combining two topics in the range of 571 to 575, we have four subcategories under it. The first one is at 571.5 to 571.9, you get the notation 3 that we have to add as per the instruction of the schedule. Whereas from 572.5 to 572.8, you can have the option of notation 3 to 4. In 573, there is an option of adding notation 2 to 4. And finally, in 575, there is an option for adding the notation 3. Okay, so these are the tricks of the class Natural Sciences and Mathematics. So as we have committed, we will proceed from the beginning, that is from 510 to 590, and within it we can find all the tricks that we have mentioned in the introduction of the particular class. You will find the example of these tricks. Okay, so our first example is three-dimensional configuration of Euclidean geometry. So there are the facet like geometry. The narrower one is Euclidean geometry. You know, Euclid was an ancient mathematician and propounded several theorems of geometry. So there is a branch of study on his name, that is Euclidean geometry. So we have to firstly find the number for geometry from the third summary. Accordingly, we get 516, under which 516 dot is Euclidean geometry. In 516.21, you will get the general aspect of Euclidean geometry, where there is a note. The note tells us add to the base number 516.21, that is the number for general aspect of Euclidean geometry, the number following 516.1. You know that it means that we have to omit the initial 516.1 and have to add the rest of portion. So following 516.1 in 516.12 to 516.18. So the general aspect of Euclidean geometry have already been mentioned under 516.12 to 516.18. Before we start, we have to proceed in 516.12, from where we have to find the number for the last facet of our title, that is three-dimensional configuration. Accordingly, we have find in 516.156 there is a class number for three-dimensional configuration of geometry. If it comes under geometry, as you can see that 516 is for geometry. So accordingly, the number for three-dimensional configuration is 516.156. So as per the norms, we have to add the number, synthesize it. So our base number was 516.21 because it was said that add to the base number 516.21. Then we have to omit the initial 516.1 of 516.156. Therefore, we get the number that is 516.2155, then a bit space, finally 6. So the number will be 516.2156. This is the number for three-dimensional configuration of Euclidean geometry. You have understood. The next problem is of neutron particle. You know, there are proton, electron, neutron inside every material or matter. So the title tells us that the book deals with such kind of acceleration. Acceleration means the gaining the speed. So these are rotating objects. So how they can gaining their speed within a particle or matter. So all these kind of things, that is proton, electron, neutrons, are the part of. So we have to go from the third summary and find the number for modern physics, that is 539, under which there is atomic and nuclear physics, which is 539.7. Under 539.7, there is a number for particle acceleration. So these are the particles like proton, electron, neutron, those all are particles. Their acceleration is enumerated in 539.737. But here the title tells us about a particular particle, not particles in general. So we have to find the number for specific particles, if any. So if we scroll down in the DDC, then we will find that specific particles that we are searching for is in 539.73712.737.7, where the notes come like add to the base number 539.737, that is the number for acceleration of specific particle, the number following 539.721 in 539.7211 to 739.7217. So we have to move in higher order collateral class, from where we can find the neutron in 539.7213. Okay, so as per the instruction, we have to omit the 1-7377 from 539.7371 to 539.7377. Then we have to add the number for neutron, omitting the initial 6 digit, that is 539.721. Therefore, we will get a part, that is the specific particles is 539.737, and the remaining portion for the number neutron is 3. Therefore, we will get the number 539.7373. This is the number for acceleration of neutron particle. Okay, so the third one, which comes with the title Mathematical Principles of Ion Exchange in Chromatographic Analysis. For non-science or non-chemistry student, it is hard to analyze what the main class is. So for your help, I can tell you that it comes under analytical chemistry. So how I can come to know that actually if you go for the study of the subject, even in the DDC third summary or in the schedule or even in the relative index, you can find that which subject comes under which broader class. So the chromatography comes under the analytical chemistry. Actually, chromatography is a experimentation method through which we can analyze the compound or the any kind of elements. Okay. So analytical chemistry, you know from the third summary, that is 543, and the chromatography is 543.8. And finally, the ion exchange chromatography, another method of chromatographic experiment, that is ion exchange chromatography, available in 543.8. So we got that ion exchange chromatographic analysis, but we have to add another facet from another subject, I think, because mathematics is a independent subject, you know. So we have to add another subject, mathematics, with this particular topic or the facets we have already identified. So for it, you know that in this type of cases, we have to move in the table 1 for standard subdivision for such kind of isolated ideas, where we have scientific principles in 0, 1, 5. Accordingly, there is a example that add to the base number 0, 1, 5 the number following 5 in 510 to 590. So scientific method of any kind of subject, that's why it gives us access from 510 to 590. As mathematics is in 510, you know, so we have to take the number for mathematics, that is 510. Therefore, the number will be 543.82, that is for ion exchange chromatography. Then we have to add 015 from table 1, where there is an instruction to omit the initial 5 from 510, and as we know that the last digit 0 is not required, as we have already have more than 3 digits number, so we have omitted the last 0 of mathematics. Therefore, the number will be 543.82 for chromatographic analysis, and then 015 for the scientific principle, and finally 1 for mathematics. Therefore, the number will be 543.820151. This is the number for mathematical principle of ion exchange in chromatographic analysis. Okay, next problem is the complex of sodium. First, we have to know that sodium is an inorganic material. That's why we have to move in the class for inorganic chemistry, that is 546. As we have mentioned in the introduction, that there is a tricks for the extended subdivision under inorganic chemistry as well as in the organic chemistry. So we have to remember it and keep in our mind that we have extended subdivision, or we have to take the help of that extended subdivision to having the such isolate idea like complex or etc. So then under 546 there is metal, metallic compound, and alloy. You know that sodium is a metal, inorganic metal definitely. So it is in 546.3. In group 1, the group 1 is from periodic table. Some of you have heard that periodic table is there to allocate the place of different element we have discovered yet according to their characteristic or nature. So these are the alkali metal of group 1. This is available, or the number of it is 546.38, under which 546.382 is sodium. The sodium starts with an asterisk marks. As you know that an asterisk always puts some instruction for the classifier. So the instruction is there that add as instructed under 546. That is, it is referring us to the extended subdivision of 546. So we have to move again in 546, where we can find the extended subdivision, that is for complex compound in the extended subdivision, the number is 25. So finally the number will be 546.38225. Okay, this is the tricks that you have to just remember, that in case of 546 you may have to move in the extended subdivision under it. Now, and another option or the example from organic chemistry. Side by side we will discuss it. We have already discussed a problem from inorganic chemistry, now it is from organic chemistry. Now, the title tells us that it is the stereochemistry of hydrocarbons. You probably know that hydrocarbon comes under organic chemistry. So organic chemistry comes in the class number 547. under which 547.01 is for hydrocarbons. We have got the number for hydrocarbons. The hydrocarbon again come with an asterisk marks which tells us to go the extended subdivision under 547. Now, accordingly, we move in 547 where we get an extended subdivision from which we get the number 044, that is for theoretical chemistry. Under theoretical chemistry, there is another add instruction which tells us add to 044 means with the number of theoretical chemistry, the numbers following 541.2 in 541.22 to 541.28. That is in general chemistry, we have to find out the number for stereochemistry. So again, we have moved in 541.2 accordingly. Then find the number for stereochemistry is 541.223. In this particular number 541.223, we have to delete 541.2 and have to take only last two digits, that is 23, with the number of theoretical chemistry, that is 044. So we have three different components of the numbers. One is 547.01, that is for hydrocarbons. The facet indicator of the add notation instruction where we got the number 044. With 044, we have to add 23 for stereochemistry. Therefore, the number will be 547.0104423. So, the number for stereochemistry for hydrocarbon is 547.0104423. So, you have to keep in mind that this kind of add instruction are very common in the classes like 546 and 547. Okay. So, the next problem is from origin of delta of Bay of Bengal. You know that the largest delta is located in the coast of Bay of Bengal. So, the book deals with this delta and we have to make the class number. So, it is under 550. That is a clue. So, in 550, there is surface and exogenous process and their agents, means different natural exogenous process and their movement we can find under 551.3. The geologic work of water, as water is a natural phenomenon, its geologic work is under 551.35. Then, as you know, that delta is a kind of landform that is created by water with its movement during the course of its movement. So, the landform created by the water is in 551.355. There is the number we have to get for delta, origin of delta. But we have to add the number for Bay of Bengal. First, you have to know that Bay of Bengal is not under any geographic jurisdiction of any particular country. Any mountain or any sea or oceans do not come under any particular country or continent. So, Bay of Bengal comes under in general portion of table 2, that is for geographic location, from 11 to 19. Therefore, from table 1, we do not use 093 to 099, specific country, continent or localities. We do not use that. Rather, we use the areas, places, regions in general, because this kind of sea or oceans are located as a general geographic location. Okay. Accordingly, we have to add 091 from table 1 and therefore we have to bypass the table 2 from where we get the number for Bay of Bengal 16564. So finally, when we add it, we have to add the number for landform created by water 551.355, then 091 from table 1, and finally for Bay of Bengal we have to omit the first one as per the instruction under table 1. So we have to add 6564. Okay. The next problem is here one, I think. fossils of desert plant. Okay, as we have mentioned that fossils or the study of fossils come under paleontology, that is 560. So this is concentrated, the title is dealing with the fossils of plant fossils or the desert plant, that is plant fossils. So the paleobotany or the fossils microorganism that is related with the plant etc. is in 561. There is a geographic notation is there, that is desert plant. As we have mentioned in the earlier problem that desert is also not restricted to any particular country or continent, in general desert. So we have to add either 091 from table 1 or if there is any instruction in the schedule itself. Then we have found that in 561.19 there is a geographic treatment for fossil plant. There is an instruction add to base number 561.19 notation 19 from table 2. Okay, so we have to find the number for desert, that is 154, and accordingly we have added the number 561.19 and 154. So the number will be 561.19154. Okay. Next problem is from biology, that is reaction kinetics of protein metabolism. Look, we have not mentioned, or the title didn't tell us about whether the metabolism is for plant or for animals. That's why we restrict in the general biology section, under which in 572 that is biochemistry. Actually, biochemistry is the study of chemistry in the light of biology or studying biology in the light of chemistry. So protein is, or the protein metabolism comes under this particular subject, that is biochemistry, under which 572.6 is protein. And there is an instruction that add as instructed under 572.5 to 572.8. There is an extended subdivision as we have mentioned, and there we have got metabolism and genetic aspect is in 4. According to the instruction under this 4 of extended subdivision, the specific aspect of metabolism is in 572.41 to 572.49. The instruction tells us to move in this class range and also tells us that add to the number 4 the number following 572.4 in 572.41 to 49. Okay. In 572.44 we get the number for reaction kinetics. According to instruction we have to add 572.6 plus 4 from the extended subdivision, then the last 4 of 572.44. Finally we get the number 572.644. The next problem is from hibernation of reptiles. You know, reptiles often go to hibernation during the winter. Reptiles or reptilia is available in 597.9. There is an instruction and the class starts with an asterisk. According to the instruction, we have to add the add notation or the extended subdivision available in 592 to 599. There we find the general topics of natural history of animal, that is in 1. Under 1, there is an instruction again, add to base number 1 the numbers following 591 in 591.3 to 591.7. So hibernation is a basic phenomena of reptiles that we have find the number for hibernation is 591.565. So we have to add the number for reptiles 597.9, then add from the extended subdivision, and finally the number of hibernation following the number 591. So final number will be 597.91565. Okay. Now the class is botany, plant ecology in Atlantic Ocean. In 581, you know the plant is there, and in 581.7, the plant ecology, plant's characteristic or specific environment. It deals with the specific environment, that is oceanic environment, that is 581.7, and the next one 581.71 to 76, there is specific topics in plant ecology in specific environment. Okay. In this particular class, there is an add instruction where it tells us to add 581.7, the number following 577, in 571.1 to 577.6. Ecology of specific oceans and sea. As we know, the book deals with a specific ocean, that is Atlantic Ocean. We get 577.73 to .79, where it redirects us to table 2. From table 2, we get the number for Atlantic Ocean, that is 163. According to all the instruction we have found till now in this particular case, we have to add 581.7, then we have to add 581.7, then 7 from 577.73 to .75, then we have to omit 1/6 of Atlantic Ocean and have to add only 3. So finally the number will be 581.773. So that's all for the example, but still there are many examples pending in your nearby libraries or in your collection maybe. So as you know that the class is vast and we have to complete the session within a stipulated time. So I would like to request you to go any library to find out the books in this particular class and try of your own to enhance your skill. Besides, we are providing you some example or set of question, you can say, to identify or to justify your knowledge skill, and finally the references are there from where you can enhance your knowledge capacity and know the class better. So hope you have enjoyed the classification of documents of this particular class. Thanks a lot for your patient sharing. Wish you all the best for your future life. Thank you.